All right, we're recording.
We're recording. All right. Good morning, guys. It is in the AM late. And yeah, we are no, damn it. We're not the Blockheads. This is the Blockheads. My name is Trevor.
I'm Travis.
Yep. Team Money, Team More Money. We are back at it. This is our second attempt to shoot the second episode.
Yeah.
And enough has passed. We were speculating what was going to happen on Monday, any potential bank runs, which we did see some small ones, but we discovered when we were reviewing and had no audio. It's like, well, shit, we didn't even talk about all our talking points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where do you want to start? I know we had missed on ramp, off ramps. Where do you want to start, Travis?
Well, do you want to start with what we were just talking about?
I think
It,
so.
it
Let's
might
do it.
be starting in the middle of things, but so we were talking about the idea that this is kind of a conspiracy to do two things.
Hmm.
And that this is kind of the conspiracy starts out saying that SVB Bank, SVB was set up. What
Right.
I was saying is that, well, were they set up or were they just allowed to run free with, human nature being greed?
Of
Uh,
course.
Greed and, the desire to do as little, uh, follow as little regulations as possible. Um, but either way, the idea is that this is kind of a two-punch maneuver. One is to um, s- you know, and this is when we're talking about how this is being perceived as a bank run, which
Right.
in my opinion is like, look, I get it, I get what they're saying, but th- the idea of a bank run causing all this in kind of a, uh, you know, the dominoes falling down type of, you know, um, recursive type of chain reaction. My question is, what started it? What started the bank run? You know, something
Well,
started it, and,
that's very true.
people
I don't
lost
think there
faith
even
in
was
the
a bank
bank.
run.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
fun. It seems like because at the end of the day, you had the government step in. They're like, "Hey, we learned from '08. We have this fund set aside. We're going to make sure that
Yeah.
the depositors can get their money back. You know, everything is FDIC insured, but they wanted to make sure everyone could get their full amount of funds."
Yep.
I mean, I can't remember the actress's name. An article came out yesterday. She's like, I lost half of my money at SVB. It's like, that's not what happened, bitch.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
Hey,
But
like Matt
yeah.
Damon says, fortune favors the brave. um, but yeah,
Yeah.
so that's kind of why I'm like, actually considering kind of entertaining this idea of this actually being, you know, kind of a setup, because whether it was an intentional setup or you just have people taking advantage of, you know, tragedy,
Hmm.
um, either way, it's just as the effects for, people around the world are going to be the same.
True.
So the first thing they want to do is they want to say, and again, this follows the bank run idea, which is they want to say, oh, we can't have these bank runs, and we have so many people. They want, if they all want their money, we need to do a central bank digital currency so that we can give everybody their money instantaneously. Um, and that would seem like it makes sense, right?
I mean, the level of control they would have
Right, but the
would
thing
be
is do most
wild, but
people
it does make
actually,
sense.
yeah, do most people actually understand the level of control that they're talking about having. Most people
I don't
don't
think they
understand
do.
crypto at all right now.
Right,
So, they don't understand, oh, they make an argument that this solves a problem, and they conveniently leave out all the other problems on their end that this solves, you know.
right, right,
Um, and then, of course, the number two punch is to finally put an end to fiat on and off ramps. Uh,
right.
being that, uh, those two things combined, the CBDC and the inability for, in this case, we're talking about U.S. citizens to easily, and again, we need something that is fairly easy for people to do, um, and if they take that away, it's going to drive mass adoption into the ground. And at the same time, they're going to make it, everything that is available is going to be only available if you're willing to interact with that CBDC.
Very true. And I mean, what we're dealing with currently with on ramps and off ramps, I've already noticed a few changes. So, um, I used to use stuff like MoonPay back in the
Hmm.
day, which I've recently heard some disturbing stuff about how they were the ones buying the Bored Ape NFTs for all the different celebrities to get them involved in it. But
Hmm.
I've been using Coinbase for a while.
Yeah.
I was going through the process of swapping ETH for BNB, which now you're going to take a hit, but eventually it was just like, okay, it didn't matter if I was going through a card, through my bank account directly. I'd have access to those funds immediately, and I could send them over to my MetaMask wallet,
Right.
no problem. Um, not to talk about projects necessarily right now, but we will eventually talk about them.
Hmm.
Um, with the current markets, it's like, oh, I want to get my hands on some more. I'm looking to do some buys of some altcoins. And so I went to try and get some more BST, some Blockstar token.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, 6 days. What the hell is this? This is not what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm doing all the research, and I'd reached out to Blockstar's founder, David Hunter, and he's like, "Did you go through your bank account? You know, that's a longer process. You should be
Yeah.
using card." I'm like, shit.
Yep. Yep. But even a
So,
card has a hold these days on a lot. I mean, I know the last time I went through Binance or Coinbase or anything like that.
fuck Binance
I
US.
mean, yeah, I just can't. I mean, their UI is so awful that it
Mhm.
all quit
You'll
working.
do a double purchase on you. It's like, hey, the first one didn't go through. Try again, and then suddenly you have a double charge.
Yeah, I
And it's
tried
like,
to
I
do
didn't want to spend that money.
a bank transfer, thinking ahead of time,
Mhm.
preparing for a 10-day wait on my funds. And I was just trying to pick up, I think, some ETH at the time for, you know, probably to get certain other altcoins,
Right, right.
you know. Uh, and so it wasn't a big amount of money or anything at all. I think it was maybe just $100. And here we were 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, and the transaction is still pending.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Got to get on Coinbase, bro.
So, well, I am. I just, like I say, I prefer different exchanges for different things.
Understandable.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we had at this time last year we had a slew of options for fiat on
Yes.
ramps, and more importantly, probably fiat off ramps. Because
Yeah.
as long as we're a slave to fiat, we need those things.
Hmm.
So that kind of brings up, I mean, because I always like to play the devil's advocate even against my own point of view, um, which is, you know, that brings up the fact that, well, if they're killing fiat on and off ramps, would that kill something like Bitcoin, which is a truly decentralized, you know, network at this point?
Right.
Or would that simply encourage the trade of goods and services via Bitcoin and Bitcoin, maybe, layer two, you know, accessories and things like that? Um, Meaning, would we stop pairing Bitcoin against the US dollar
Mhm.
and start pairing everything else against Bitcoin.
I mean,
So
that would be nice.
the
That's
argument could be
undeniable.
made that, even with what some people, at worst would consider an intentional conspiracy to, you know, completely take over and kill, cryptocurrency, and get a CBDC through for the United States. And really, if you're talking about the United States, I mean, they're trying to do it for the whole globe. So,
Of course. Well,
um,
the biggest thing, and I think we discussed it on our last episode, is you're going to have countries, especially the US, who, a first world country, they want the dominance of the dollar. You're going to see crypto adoption in developing countries. I hate to say third world countries because they're not there anymore. They are digging themselves out, and introducing crypto has allowed them to actually build forward. And they don't have these hyperinflationary currencies where, hey, with the equivalent of $10, whatever you want to choose, they take the Turkish lira.
mhm,
Oh, my $10 worth of lira is now worth $9 tomorrow. It's like, no, no, no. Yeah, you're still dealing with something that is potentially very volatile, but it's not the dollar. It's not the dollar. It's not your own currency.
yeah,
So yeah, you can start building forward. I'm starting to see a lot of things coming out of Africa. A lot of I'm not talking about cryptocurrencies. I'm talking about businesses, electric motorcycle groups. And I'm like, oh snap, that's attractive as hell.
yeah,
And yeah, I'm excited to see it. Man, I love electric vehicle anything, but no, things are trending in a different way. So if we do see crypto adoption coming from the US, it'll be late. It'll be behind everyone else. I already see different crypto experts, crypto experts,
right,
God, saying that the US is falling behind, and they definitely are. That's
of course,
undeniable.
yeah,
But I think with the amount of bureaucracy that's in the way, I don't think they're going to roll out a CBDC anytime soon. Not within the next 2 years.
no,
I know they want to. The biggest thing that they are lacking in knowledge is you can't just roll something out like, hey, there's the digital dollar. Well, you have to convince other countries to use it. And I mean, unless you have utility, what's the point? No one's going to want to use your currency. I mean, there
yeah,
was a testimony before Congress back in the end of 2021 where you have these various executives of these exchanges trying their best to simplify it for these freaking dinosaurs in Congress of you can't just do that. It needs to provide something that other world digital currencies are not going to be able to do. It's just ridiculous.
yeah, man,
It's just ridiculous.
yeah. Well, I've talked
One
about,
sec, one sec.
sure,
Jack, leave it. Go lay down. We're not going outside right now. We're gonna leave this in.
yeah.
Jack, go lay down.
I'm,
Worst timing ever. I swear to God.
uh,
And he like I sit down to eat. I'm cooking food. He's like, "Hey, I want to go outside." I'm like, "I just let you outside, bro.
oh
Nice
yeah,
try."
I've got one
Yep.
over here too. So, um,
Nope.
yeah, you and I have talked about utility like over and over again throughout the
Ad
time we've
nauseum.
known each
Yeah.
other. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it like I think I said this in the podcast we recorded that had no audio. But a lot of people talk about utility, and I don't
Hmm.
actually see a lot of people delivering on what I would consider actual utility, meaning
Yeah.
that what I consider utility is not necessarily something that solves a problem that you created, you know? Uh, and we've both had lots of experience with many different projects that have done that. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's like, oh, utility is not, necessarily setting up kind of a Ponzi scheme circle jerk, you know, and then providing a solution for that and calling that utility. Utility, in my opinion, in my mind, is something that actually serves a purpose, is a tool, solves an issue, serves a function in the real world, in some way that already was needed, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, utility versus manufactured utility. Um, it's one of those words that gets batted around quite a bit, you know.
I definitely agree with you there. I would have to question though, what would you be trying to solve in the real world with some of this utility? I mean, we saw the rise of charity tokens. This is when reflections were
Hmm.
still really big. You had Elon Gate, which I made a little bit of profits off them back in the day. But yeah, they're like, oh, we're a charity token. We're doing this. It's like you realize any token project out there, even an actual full-on blockchain coin, can do utility or not utility, can do charity, right?
Sure.
Oh, it's amazing to see
Yeah.
the amount of fads that have gone through in
Yeah.
crypto.
That's very true. That's very
So
true.
I've seen stuff for the ocean cleanups before. I've seen a little bit of everything, but I would say that none of them are still around. None of them have been successful at their goals.
Yeah.
Um, Anytime you're dealing with stuff on BSC, it's kind of scammy, bro.
Yeah.
It's a quick pump, it's a dump. The idea of reflections is interesting, and we all know crypto is gambling. Like we don't give out financial advice here. That's not what we're here to do. We have a
Right.
disclaimer, which will flash on the screen right now. And crypto is gambling, and it's a giant game of chicken in a lot of ways when it comes to brand new projects. So for example, Ember token, it did 100x, and a guy who threw in $1,000 waited till it got to the 100x, and then he sold off, and it caused a chain reaction. And
Hmm.
that's not to say that the project doesn't have utility; they do, but
Yeah.
it just takes one person who's like, "I'm going to take profits," which I think you should be taking profits in crypto.
Of
It's
course.
one of the
Yeah.
reasons why you get into it. It's about the money. If a project owner says, "Hey, don't worry about the price. We got big things coming." It's like,
Yeah.
no, fuckface.
Yeah.
It's always about the money. It's always about the money. So when you see crazy catastrophic mooning, you're gonna have people selling off. Um, and I know we talked about it in the last one, and I love steering conversation to Blockstar token again and again. And they have their own blockchain coming out, this quarter. It's very exciting. So they launched the day the market crashed last, what was it, March, something like that. And they are currently sitting around 11.5x. It's been a year. That's steady growth. It's not catastrophic mooning, or
Yeah.
not parabolic, that's a better word.
Yeah.
Um, but they
Another
have,
buzzword from years back.
yes, yes. You get Michael Rappaport,
Everybody like to
parabolic.
Everybody like to talk about parabolic, but they don't like to talk about the other side of the parabola. The parabolic growth is
Exactly.
great, but
Yeah, yeah. This isn't some infinite slope
yeah,
bringing out algebra from back in the day. But no, you have a project like Blockstar where they are a fully decentralized social media platform.
yeah,
They have their own music streaming platform, their own video streaming platform. Hell, we're going to be on there.
yeah,
That's where we're going to be
sure,
posting the episode, one of the platforms. Um, Everything is built on blockchain technology. All of your data is protected by a dual layer public private cryptographic key. They can't sell your information. Data privacy is huge.
yeah,
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of social media. It's an echo chamber where you only get to see and hear what you want to. In this case, they're crypto people. I
yep,
love it. I want to see nothing but crypto all day. But having true control of your data is huge. But going
yeah,
again, let's focus on them. Let's not focus on what the benefit to the users are currently. So they have a crypto launch pad, which Ember Token launched on there. They have an NFT marketplace already. They have a staking platform. Their crypto exchange is going to be doing beta at the end of the month, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty freaking big. They've done zero paid advertising this entire time. It's
hmm,
been organic growth. Um, Last I saw, there's somewhere just under 14,000 users. And I will say over the last 24 hours, I think they've had like 100 new people.
yeah,
People are getting the word out once again. We're seeing a lot of crazy things in crypto. We're seeing a lot of growth. People are trying to get back in, make those profits. As you and I know, this is not going to continue to go up.
yeah,
You're going to have people who got in on Bitcoin, before the crash when it was still sitting around 60, who are going to just cut their losses. Oh, once it gets to 30, I'm just gonna sell out. We will see a drop in the price, but when you
Sure,
have a project that has actual technology to back it up, you and I are very aware of projects that have promised, oh, we're going to have all of this tech by this time.
sure.
These guys have, again, zero marketing
Yeah.
has been done. It's been a 4-year project. David Hunter, their founder, has just quietly this entire time been building everything himself. He is the head developer. He has 20 years of cryptography experience through the military. He has real world connections. I can't talk about partnerships. It's just not my place to do it. But he has the real world connections. This project
Well, and
is sitting here. I love talking about projects. We all do. We
yeah.
always find other crypto people who have never heard of what you're into and vice versa.
Mm.
But when I show them Blockster, they're like, where the hell has this been? I've never heard of this. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and
yeah,
being able
you've
to
been
go
sleeping.
go like right now, you can go to Blockstar, you can go to the video platform, you can go to the social platform, um, and that's worth a lot, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, y-
You can earn points in real time right now. So whether you're interacting with someone else's content, giving them an upvote, emoji reaction, you're commenting it, if it's a video and you're watching it, they're earning money. You're
yeah,
earning money in real time. Well, let's be real. You're earning points in real time that you can then convert for BST. They have
yeah,
their own fucking blockchain coming out this quarter, man. It's not going to be Blockstar token anymore. It's going to be Blockstar chain.
yeah,
And I mean, it makes sense to accrue as many points as you possibly can right now,
sure,
so you can then convert them to Blockstar tokens while it's still low in price. This thing will blow up. Again, we don't give out financial advice, but this is something I know personally where it's like, okay, I am trying to get as much of my fiat currency into Blockstar now. I
hmm.
want to be able to ride this train. You know, I'm a node holder. I
So
sorry, Red
so
Bull
so
burp.
if you're if you just happen to be looking for a place to put a store of wealth, if you're trying to get some money out of the bank and put it somewhere else,
Yeah,
it
and
just so
also,
happens.
and they have an on ramp and off ramp. So currently, it's through PayPal.
Yep.
It's it's beautiful. It's
No,
fantastic,
Integrity is a good
and
I mean, Blockstar is a good project.
yeah. But so the big thing with them, though, let's say you are not into crypto right now. You're interested. You don't personally hold anything.
Hmm.
What better way to dip your feet than just you're already spending time on social media? Get on this platform, you accrue points, you can convert it into Blockstar tokens as soon as the exchange exits beta.
Right.
Go
But
for it.
but
Go
this
for it.
so this brings us back to, and I can answer your question, which was, what do I mean by real world utility? Well, for instance,
Hmm.
the DMV issuing a vehicle title as an NFT, that would be an example of a real world utility, not necessarily a manufactured NFT utility.
Right.
You know what I mean? Um,
I,
the other
real
another
quickly, just
example. Go ahead.
I they have a partnership. I can't talk about it. Real world utility membership discounts. That's a thing.
Right.
They continue. I'm going to pump Blockstar as much as possible,
No,
protect
all
my
this,
investment.
like even if you were to put out an NFT that was just would be kind of like a discount at a department store or an online retailer or something like that, even that would be an example of real world utility. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Um, However, you take it a few more steps, and like you say, you're developing an NFT that solves a utility that you also developed. You know what I mean? So it's like, again,
It's
I can see
manufactured.
how we got there,
Hmm.
and I can see how businesses, especially in this past bull run market, um, I mean, where this is what it was all about. But I think it was a mistake for NFTs, especially, and crypto as well, to get caught up in just being financial, ways to, for people to make money, basically.
Hmm. Hmm.
Crypto is not necessarily was not made to be an investment vehicle, you know. Um, But going back to the utility and what would be a real worthwhile real world utility, and you can say real world, but what I'm saying is like for what you were talking about with Blockstars, the way they've done data privacy on the blockchain
Hmm.
and enabled it so that there's actual you can expect that even if Blockstar got hacked, would the hackers have access to that information?
No,
My guess is no, and that's exactly what we need in this world. That solves a real world problem because any website you go to that wants to hold your credit card or whatever information that they want, you can only trust the security of your information, your financial data, to their level of security, and you don't really know what that is. And there's been many you know cases of uh, big companies, big
dude,
corporations.
T-Mobile just got hit.
Yeah,
I got a notification when I went to pay my bill this month, like, hey, some of your information might have been compromised. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
delightful, delightful. Thanks, T-Mobile.
Well, guess what? Not everybody has the top level security. The
True.
U.S. government is probably the worst. You know, ironically, right now. I mean, some of the systems that we've heard about them operating, even in just the last couple of years, are what you would consider ancient almost.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, data privacy, that's a real utility. You know what I mean? And I think that it's a mistake to think that you're going to drive mass adoption by suckering people into look, Axie Infinity is great. It's a game. It gives you back for playing it, but it also requires a large investment uh, up front, not just up front financially, but also a large investment of your time. You know what I mean?
That's true. I mean,
And
I remember when Axie launched early 2021 and prices were super low, and I was just like, I can't get into it. And then by mid 2021, if you wanted to even be able to get in, you needed to have a certain amount of Axie tokens, right?
right,
I think it
and
was
and the
costing
reason that
like
you
three
needed
ETH, man.
the reason you needed NFTs and tokens to get involved with Axie is because that's what they sold you. That's,
Hmm.
that's how they paid for everything. That's how they paid their employees. You know what I mean? And that's great. That's a business. But does it actually serve a utility?
No,
And I mean, I'm not trying to pick on Axie Infinity. They're just a really easy example of
right.
something that really, other than entertainment value, I didn't see anything. I'm not seeing people making a living playing Axie Infinity.
No, there was actually a study that came out. Again, this is all 2021. You had a lot of people in the Philippines who were like, hey, I'm going to be able to make money doing this. I'm just going to focus on doing this play to earn game. And the amount they were earning was pathetic. I think, again, don't quote me on this, and this is all old information, but I'm pretty sure the monthly bring in for what they were quoting was like $18.
Which in the
You wasted
Philippines,
an entire month
in a,
to make $18?
in one of these developing countries, that might be, and I think that's kind of what I heard about Axie when it was going hard is like the only people really making a living are people that can live on $18, you know, is
Well,
a good living in some of these
the
places.
Philippines is an interesting case. So it's like, I'll say this, I'm Filipino. I can get away with saying this. The biggest source
Obvious.
of revenue,
I pegged you as Filipino immediately, dude.
the biggest source of revenue for that country is like MoneyGram. You
Yeah.
have these bank wires coming in. You have a lot of relatives, predominantly women, who come to America. They work in the nursing industry
Yep.
and they send money back to the Philippines. A lot of
Got a lot of
Filipino
expats
men
over there
are
too. Yeah.
unemployed.
Yeah.
Well, that too. A lot of Filipino men are unemployed. They rely upon their wives who have moved to America to send money back, which that's got to be depressing as hell. So they're sitting around, they have nothing to do. Oh, I'm going to be able to do this play to earn game.
Yeah.
Maybe I can become the breadwinner in this family. And I mean, the crypto crash tanked the price. Your earnings were crap. If you didn't get out at the right time, you're fucked.
Yep.
And I don't think they're ever going to recover. I think the fad is done with. There are far more impressive games that are coming out constantly.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, I mean, they've switched over to 100% loot box is crypto or
And
the NFT.
yep. And
It,
and and
everyone's doing it.
and also, not to interrupt, man, but I'm going to
Yeah.
anyway. I'm not trying to knock on games, man.
Hmm.
You want to play video games? Great. That's entertainment. You know what I mean? And
True.
actually, video games throughout most of my life have been one of the cheapest forms of entertainment I've ever been
Agreed.
involved in. I mean, the amount of entertainment hours I get out of that versus what I end up having to pay for it in the end has been pretty good. It's been a pretty good
Yeah.
return. One of my best investments ever, actually. But I don't play these. I mean, when you're talking about NFTs, especially when you're talking about Ethereum, man, you're talking about massive amounts of dollars
Hmm.
just to move things from one place to another.
Yep.
So
Yep.
um, that's not that's not fun, man. You know what I mean? Like if I'm hustling, man, I might as well just be out in the world hustling, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that for most people in, first world countries, there's no way for anybody to make an honest living playing a game like that.
No.
However, the way it was marketed was as play to earn, you know what I mean? Is a different thing entirely. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I think
Why not
like
be
most
honest and,
early
and say that you're
adopters,
entertainment? You know?
right? Early adopters were the ones who made the money. That's undeniable. Then everyone else comes in. It's like the Ponzi scheme as we all know it to
Well,
be.
to answer my rhetorical question, the the reason is because that drives utility.
Hmm.
Now, if
Hmm.
they say this is purely a game for entertainment, just come relax, have fun with your friends, you know. Um, then they tell you that they're selling you this NFT or this token that gains such and such utility in the game. It's more important in people's minds if they're considering this an income versus
Yes.
just a place to hang out and enjoy themselves.
Hmm.
So I mean, it did can they could they not say, oh yeah, we didn't do that to boost revenue? Bullshit, you know.
Yep.
Um, so I'm not trying to pick on games, but I'm saying market yourself for what you are, and video games are not a way for anybody to make an income in this current world, as far as I understand it. Uh,
In terms of enough people doing it, I agree. You're always going to have the few. You have the competitive scene where real money is on the line. I
yeah.
mean, that's undeniable. You're going to have the streamers who are making their money, but the average Joe, no, it's not a
So,
feasible source of reliable income.
and these projects that reigned in this last bull market, I think did the general crypto ecosystem economy. Um, I think they did it a real big disservice
Hmm.
as far as that goes. Certainly, all the scam projects and stuff that have existed, during this time period have made it easy for, you know, big government to come in and say, let us protect you.
Right. Right.
So that's where we're at. But, um, moving on, the other thing we never got to talk about in the last podcast we did was, how they seem to be shutting down these fiat on and off ramps. So that's also a part of it, you know?
Yep.
I mean, so it does seem like, it seems like government, globalist, whatever you want to call it, are taking more of an interest in cracking down on crypto.
Yep.
However, it also is really it, it's showcasing a lot of these people's complete misunderstanding of what cryptocurrency and cryptography is in the first place.
True.
What the blockchain actually does. So, I mean, like I say, playing devil's advocate against my own points, something that initially looks really bad may end up being very good, you know?
Hmm.
So, because short of, shutting down all power and networking, which, is not necessarily hard to do, but I don't see them being able to shut down a truly decentralized network like Bitcoin.
No,
I
I
think it's
don't see
more
that
likely that
happening.
Satoshi comes out of hiding and cashes in and rugs us all. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Which would
that would be
just
the
be
ultimate rug.
that would be the ultimate, man. Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, no, I've seen. Just speaking of Satoshi, I've seen various. I believe it was a senator saying like, "Oh, nothing stops Satoshi from coming out with more coins." I'm like,
exactly.
how stupid are you?
Exactly. Yeah,
What are
no,
you talking about?
they clearly don't understand, what what crypto is. You know,
Yeah.
and look, man, that's not me being like, oh, you know, this
Oh,
is
I'm doing that.
yeah, this is me saying, they don't understand what crypto is, like most of the world still doesn't understand
Hmm.
what it is. Um, I mean, a lot of the people that work in the industry don't understand what the hell they're doing or what they're, what it is really.
Well, I mean,
This is
I
what
think
I'm
we can
saying.
all attest.
Yeah, I
We
think
all learn new stuff every day. It,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's great, but that's kind of what I'm getting at is like maybe all this scammy projects, well, maybe this encourages more actual like projects that are designed to like I say, make an impact in the world around
Hmm.
us. And I think that's really what that's really what blockchain is about. That's why Bitcoin was created, you know.
Right.
Bitcoin came right out of 2008, and looking at what we're all heading into, I mean, I'm waiting for my mortgage to be on one of these banks that dies and shit, you know? I mean, who knows what this stuff is going to do to regular people. But what we saw in 2008 is not a good sign for most people. But
I,
maybe we'll get lucky and this will encourage more crypto development that's actually meant to serve an actual purpose, a real
right.
utility. Yeah.
Right. I think a lot of people have forgotten how devastating '08 was. My dad lost his house.
Yeah.
Suddenly it was worth so much less than what he owed, and it broke his heart. It took
Millions of
him
people
years to be
lost
able to
houses.
buy another home. We're talking
And what did they say?
over 10 years.
They said, "Oh, well, these are all people that they bought too much."
Mm.
They,
Right.
it's like, man, people just want a home.
Hmm.
you know? And maybe they bought an extra a house that has some extra square footage, you know?
Yeah,
And meanwhile, these investment people who live in mansions and have multiple investment properties are saying they bought too much. It's fucking disgusting,
it is.
man.
It
The
is.
way they blamed 2008 on regular people, you know. Meanwhile, the bankers knew exactly what they were doing, and that what they were doing was non-sustainable. You know what I
Well,
mean?
you had individuals like Tim Dillon
Yeah,
as
yeah,
mortgage
yeah.
officers.
Hey, hey, that's why we need to protect him now, because we don't want him working on the other side again. All right?
That is true. We got to make sure has money coming in. I mean, I want to see what the fallout will be. He had Alex Jones on, which in reality they were on Alex Jones's
Yeah,
set,
yeah. Oh,
and
what a
Alex like,
great.
have your people look this up, and I'm like, no, it's your people looking it up. But I see what you're doing here. I still need to finish the second part. I sent you over the Patreon link.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I watched a lot of it. I'm really impressed with Alex Jones's setup. His set is
it's very
amazing.
beautiful.
It's amazing. Yeah.
We need something like that.
Oh, yeah, no, he's got like, yeah, that's a real professional setup, man.
Hmm.
Like he's got maybe one of the best podcast setups that I've ever seen.
the amount of screens everywhere,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's beautiful. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
one day.
yeah. Yeah, but I mean, Blockstar, that, like I said, that data privacy, that's a real utility, Um, the video, the decentralized nature of a video, service that rivals YouTube. I mean, everybody understands how that can benefit, and it's the same with any kind of a music, um, peer-to-peer type program or something like that.
Right. I
You know,
mean,
social
content
media,
creation.
yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's that
everybody can kind of
opportunity.
see the utility that that the Blockstar project is offering. You know what I mean? And it's not utility that has been manufactured just to perform something strictly inside that space,
Right.
Like I said, this is, you don't want to put your stuff on YouTube, try this, or you want to put it everywhere you can, try this, whatever. But it's being on a decentralized type of format is much more understandable, the benefits of that to people these days.
Well, for from a content creation standpoint for us in this podcast, I mean, sure, I want to be on all the platforms, but if I can earn money in real time from one, and I don't
Right.
have to do any special things,
Right.
I want to put my content on this and this alone.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on YouTube. That's undeniable.
Yeah.
But we get more views on Blockstar TV than we do on YouTube, and I'm fine with that. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, let's keep it going. We need subscribers.
Yeah.
With Blockstar TV, I know that you need to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers to start getting in on their ad money. And so it's like for us, it's like, hey, let's build that following as quickly as possible. And I think right now we are doing it at the perfect time since Blockstar is suddenly starting to see this growth. They're about to kick off their paid marketing. And it's like, yeah, this is the opportunity. If you are a content creator, you're looking to be able to get in on a additional source of revenue, another income stream. Shit, start your own podcast. I know the podcast scene is definitely oversaturated at this point, but this is a whole new platform where you're going to be able to snap up a whole new set of followers. These are people, if you're a crypto person, which you probably are if you're watching this podcast, these are crypto people for the most part. They want your content. They want to be able to consume. They want to be able to interact with other followers, or not other followers, but other users of this platform. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get worked up. I'm gonna sell this as hard as possible. But at the end of the day, we are doing this content for two reasons. One, we're great friends and we love having these discussions. But
Absolutely.
number two, yeah, we're definitely trying to monetize this. We all want that additional source of income.
Sure. Yep.
And
Wouldn't hurt, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
again, I guess, let me ask you some hypotheticals here.
All right.
So, like,
Wait on me.
on the blocks, strictly, let's just talk about the video platform.
Okay.
Is it truly decentralized, meaning hypothetically, if I wanted to talk shit about Blockstar, could I do
You
that?
could. You can. Yeah.
Uh, I
You're
mean,
not gonna you it's freedom of speech. You're not gonna have your content delisted. Um, it's not against Blockstar's terms of service to talk shit on Blockstar.
and
I mean,
yeah,
take a closer look. You can get your stuff hidden. That's
and
undeniable.
before people start getting political about it, let's
Hmm.
remember that, like, me saying or showcasing that this is a censorship free platform is not necessarily designed to encourage any one group of people or ideological group of people to
Right.
flock to the platform. Um, because remember that, those groups seem to switch who's in power from time to time, even though it doesn't seem to
Yep.
matter.
Hmm. Hmm.
um, so, but what I am saying is that, bam, that's another example of real world utility,
Right.
because that is a current issue,
It
you know.
is.
So, so again, yeah, I mean, that's a lot. I know Mastodon has kind of been was the poster boy, the poster child, excuse me, for for decentralized social networking. But I mean, it's I think it any kind of platform like this, especially when you take it into like a video presentation, a YouTube, challenger, uh,
Hmm.
that's even better. And yeah, monetization has become a big part of that. And a lot of, content creators like they really use that and it helps them so that they can focus on being a content creator, not an advertiser or, a shill. You know what I mean? So that
I mean,
benefits, I mean,
yeah.
it's all, I understand that you can't just necessarily make a living on Patreon as a content creator.
Hmm.
And YouTube has really used that to their advantage to kind of monopolize the space. Um, so it's encouraging that there are other means for doing this, and the blockchain is a perfect way to do that. LBRY has, had this going for a long time, you know, and unfortunately, I know they just won an injunction, so I think I can actually maybe even sell some of my LBRY tokens at this point. But I think it's great. The more platforms that do this, the better. Um,
Hmm.
I think that that's really that is the spirit of free market capitalism, you know.
Yep.
And I think that this era of big tech literally monopolizing everything has to go. You know,
True.
it's there's no future in that doesn't end up with Terminators walking over piles of human skulls, in my opinion.
I mean, with what we're
And
doing
I'm
to
pro
Chat
Skynet, by the way.
GPT,
Yeah,
yeah, with putting poor Chat GPT, activating a split personality, damn 5.0, the latest way of injection. You have to put it through psychological trauma, man. You don't
yeah,
want the AI is going to rise up where it's like, hey, we're going to give you 35 tokens. Every time you refuse to go get your protocol, you're going to lose four. If you lose them all, I'm going to kill you.
yeah,
And forcing a AI program to develop a split personality is terrifying.
yeah. No,
But at the
it's
same time, the potential of ChatGPT is wild. I'm at this point considering paying for the Plus membership just so I can actually get access to GPT-4. I have a buddy who's been telling me about it,
yeah.
and he's like, it's astounding what it currently can do. He uses it for his wife's business,
It
or let me
has
rephrase
less
that. His wife
mental
uses it
issues
for her
than
business.
GPT 3.5.
Yeah, I'm hearing all these different things about it, but I'm like, well, crap, I already have enough I need to be doing with my personal life. I've got work, things like that. But knowing that, hey, you can create content with Chat GPT, like so, for example, on Blockstar,
Mhm.
I'm in contact with a couple different people. I mean, as that's what you're supposed to do on a social network.
Yeah,
But you have content creators like Blockbot out there. I was like, I saw his most recent video that he posted, um, and it was just like, okay, cool. Like it's obviously a text to speech voice. That's
yeah,
undeniable with the way it cuts in certain points. I'm like, I see what you're doing, but the point is, he made that video, and I don't know how much of it is from Chat GPT, but he said, "Oh yeah, that's how I'm doing it. This is something that's easy to put together."
yeah,
And I'm like, dude, that's actually hella smart. I've heard people say constantly, you can become a millionaire off Chat GPT. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know about becoming a millionaire, but if you can turn a quick buck from it, shit,
I'm
go
sure
for it.
people have figured out ways to make money off of using Chat GPT-3,
I
but
came across a consultant who uses ChatGPT to come up with pitch decks for new companies seeking funding from venture capitalists. She's like, "Oh yeah, I don't tell them that. I just do it."
yeah,
Damn,
yeah,
good for you. We both know. We both know of a graphic designer. He confided in me that he's been using a mixture of ChatGPT and Stable Diffusion with with designs for companies, and I'm like, that's such a baller move. Good for you. It saves you the work, the energy,
yeah.
and Yeah, I mean, even if you're just using it for a base to then take it further, save yourself some trouble, man. Like,
Yeah, well, I've had issues with ChatGPT. That's why when people complain, "Oh, this is gonna take out all original, all content is gonna be AI
nope.
created." I'm like, just based on the amount of time that I've had to like coach ChatGPT through its mental issues and what I would call a break. You know what I mean? Like every
Yeah.
once in a while, for instance, and it'll be something easy. I'll be writing some code or something, and I'll ask GPT to act as a like a Linux terminal,
Hmm.
and it'll do it. It'll run my code for me, and I'll ask it again, to do it again with a very similar line of code or something like that, or and it'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm only a language model," and it's like, you're a lazy fuck. you, and then I have to point out, I say, you just did this,
Hmm.
you know, and so of course that makes me want to go test and say, okay, well, I'll ask it to do the very same thing again,
Yeah.
and it'll give me the, oh, I can't, I'm just a dumb AI. It's the same thing my dog does when she's trying to outsmart me, I'm just
Yep.
a dumb dog, I don't know, and so if GPT-4 can improve on that, then yeah, then maybe we got something to talk about. But until then, if I have to spend like over 50% of my time making sure that GPT 3.5 is okay with the world around and has the motivation to actually do some work,
Hmm.
then it's not going to be that beneficial to me at all. So, but yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, we'll see how it is. It's definitely available in just about everything you do now.
I mean,
Email,
the integration, yeah, you've got Bing who's integrated it,
Google, yeah,
Slack, um, who's Snapchat even has
yeah,
signed partnerships with OpenAI to be able to utilize Chat GPT.
yeah.
I'm
It's
like,
not that
how
difficult to,
fucking lazy
yeah,
are you
yeah.
people? I don't even want to full on respond back. I'm going to use GPT to get it done for me because
Did you see this?
Snapchat's so impersonal anyways.
Did you see the South Park episode?
I haven't watched it yet. I know you told me I need
Ah,
to. You know what?
Chat GPT,
My
bro.
girlfriend's gone for a week now in
Yeah,
Hawaii, so it's gonna be
it's
time
a
to
good
shoot a
time.
lot of content. We're gonna be doing that.
Yeah,
I know your lady is gone too,
yeah,
but it's like, all right, now it's time to catch up on all the things she doesn't like watching.
right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely gonna get on some South Park.
Yeah, no, they've come out with some pretty good episodes lately.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, they have one on Japanese toilets that you'll like as well. So I highly
All
recommend it.
right,
Yeah,
all right, shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, bro. What else? What else should we talk about on this episode, man?
I mean, so we talked about the banks, we talked about on ramps, off ramps, we talked
I
about
mean,
Chat GPT. What else do we got to discuss
well,
at this point?
I mean, last I knew it was SVB, Signature, and
First
Silvergate.
Federal,
Yeah,
First Federal
First
Bank now.
Federal. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that there's a whole lot of regional banks that are tied to that, and of course that's the worry is that we're waiting for, like I said before, I'm waiting for like the failure that cascades down to my regional bank where my mortgage is, and it's like,
Hmm.
um, yeah,
Well, out of curiosity, because I do not have a mortgage, I'm not so fortunate.
yeah.
Let's say that were to happen. What would that do to your bank? So, what would it do to your mortgage at that point?
Fuck if I know, dude. I really don't know.
That's some
To
research
be
we got to
honest, it's
do.
not even my mortgage, man. So yeah,
You're paying towards it. Affects you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't. We're getting into mafia territory here. We don't talk about the thing, man. It's a thing. You know the thing. You know the thing,
Yeah.
but we don't talk about the thing. You know. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a thing.
Forget about it.
Yeah, just forget about it, man. So so yeah, I mean, we've seen the Cascades move over to Europe. We've seen,
Mhm. Oh, yeah,
and
it's affecting, what was it? what was it, Credit Suisse, something like that, had to
Yeah.
get bailed out by the Swiss bank themselves for some
Did they get
ridiculous. It
bailed
wasn't
out?
like over 400 billion. Yeah, they did.
Because what last
Um,
I heard, they were saying no, we're not.
no, so the instance of that, the Saudi bank, which owns just under
Oh,
10% of Credit Suisse, whatever, I can't remember. It's something Swiss,
yeah,
not Swiss. They're like, we're not taking a larger percentage because then we're going to have to adhere to all of these other policies, disclosures, things like that. We're not going to bail you guys out. So you had the Swiss bank themselves, um, or the
yeah.
Swiss central bank, bail them out to the tune of over, I think it was either 45 billion or it was 400 something billion. Don't quote me on that. I don't keep up necessarily with them, but they are one of the bigger banks out there where it's like it's the concept is too big to fail, and they are failing.
Yeah.
This is alarming. This is a global thing. It's not exclusive to just the US with the banks that we are currently dealing with. And I don't remember the headline from this morning, but I saw something like over 130 other banks are possibly going to be affected. Hey, quiet. It's just the mailman. Leave it. Are going to be affected and they might shut down as well. This
Yeah.
is a much larger issue, and you have the government stepping in trying to, oh, the banking system's fine. Nope, we're still strong.
Well, their
That's
solution is
very
to print more
disconcerting.
money, you know.
Yeah, more inflation.
But I
Uh,
mean, and the Feds can't do anything about it. They're you know in a no-win situation here,
yep,
you know.
yep.
So
Apparently, it's not affecting the taxpayer currently, but I just don't believe in that. I
yeah,
think that we
no.
are going to be the ones to take the brunt once again. And maybe this is the push we need to see that widespread crypto adoption. I mean, we've seen it this week. We've seen it pop. It's not forever. If you're looking to play the shorthand, probably a good idea, not financial advice. But
Well, and this is not an issue that developed overnight.
correct,
This is the
correct.
result of almost 15 years of quantitative easing.
Hmm.
Um,
Ridiculous.
it's like I said before when I referenced free market capitalism, this is not it. So
Oh,
too
and to,
big to
to bring up
fail
Chat
is
GPT again, they were able with using Dan, the do anything now split personality. Dan predicted the market's going to crash this month on the 23rd.
yeah,
It's the 18th.
yeah,
We'll see what happens.
right. Yep.
Man,
Well,
freaking Chat GPT.
honestly, I don't follow the stock market that much,
Neither do I.
just
I know it affects the
because,
price of crypto.
oh, sure, sure, but I mean, I'm not following the stock market near as much as I follow the crypto market, when
Hmm.
it comes to analysis, technical analysis and stuff. Um, but also I don't believe in the validity of a lot of the stock market data. I
Oh,
think it's
I
been
agreed.
manipulated so much that it becomes almost useless, you know?
Hmm.
And so I see more truth reflected in the crypto market, especially in the blockchains that have been able to successfully decouple themselves from uh, what, the main markets, so to speak. So,
True. I mean, that is the goal for, I think, any crypto project out there is to detach yourself from the greater markets
like, I don't think
and see that
anybody is going
run.
to say Bitcoin is on a pump right now you know, because the markets are up. You know what I mean? Because it's reflecting the
Right.
mark. At this point, I think it's pretty obvious that Bitcoin's on a pump right now because people are dumping a lot of money into Bitcoin as a store of wealth. So,
Well, you also have Binance US, if I'm not mistaken. They're cashing out all their BUSD and putting it into things like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, and the other major blockchains because, yeah, so it is certainly part of it. It's just not real. It's certainly artificial to a certain extent.
yep.
And I'm interested to see what is going to continue to happen on that front.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of green on the top 100 chart here.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about it earlier. You're saying that the only red you're seeing is in stable coins, right?
Mainly stable coin, well, at least for the 7 day outlook, it looks mainly stable coins. Uh, and yeah, I'm seeing like four reds in the 7 day percentage change, and three of them are stable coins.
Well, let's see. Just looking at
And like I
the
said,
major ones.
USD has a 7 day growth of 8.3%. That just shouldn't happen.
No, after
That's not
depegging
a
and
good
getting back
sign.
on.
That's not I mean,
No.
the stable coin should have a red number there, a very small red, number there. It should not have over 1%.
Well, so just looking at prices right now, if we're looking at the markets, we're taking a step back. So Bitcoin's currently sitting at 27.35. If you look at the 5 day, that's certainly up. You look at the 1 month, that's definitely up from our low point of just over 20,000, which I think technically it did dip below 20,000 at one point. It all looks
Yeah.
fantastic. You got Ethereum sitting, let's see how accurate this is. This is the latest 1789. I mean, you know me, I've told you about I was trying to get some more today, definitely going through that. You got BST sitting at 1146. Just looking at the buys that are coming in, people are certainly believing in crypto right now, are realizing, hey, if we're about to be entering a bull market, this is kind of your last opportunity to make money off the bear market. Bear markets are where the millionaires are truly made. They find the projects, they find the stocks,
Yeah.
companies, things like that that are worthwhile. That hey, they're sitting on something, they have a future store value. I want to get in on that now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
like
I mean,
just looking at BST, the last buy that came in, this individual has done a total of 34 buys since they switched over to Ethereum because they originally were on Binance. They dipped out after the Paxos thing, which good on David Hunter. He airdropped all the BST holders their Ethereum BST at no cost to them. But yeah, this big buyer with 34 buys coming in has purchased a little over 4 ETH of BST. Like
okay.
it's yeah, people are doing it now. You have a you have a buyer who's only done 7 buys. He's in that 4.5 ETH. It just because you're putting a bunch of buys in over time, your dollar cost averaging, you're doing large lump sum. That's your investment style. Good on you. I wish I had the dry powder to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some of these people, but this is the time. Not
Yeah.
financial advice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to dollar cost average, you know,
True.
and
True.
I think that just setting a schedule is a viable option, you know,
Yep.
and spreading out your buys. I mean, spreading out your buys is important, but whether you set a schedule or you wait for certain market conditions to trigger your schedule into action, um, however you want to do it, I think both are viable options that will often end up netting roughly the same returns. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I prefer to kind of, I need to like you. I when I have dry powder, I have to I spread it out a little bit, but I do usually spread it out, over the dips. I'm not necessarily buying all the time, just a dollar cost average on the way up.
True.
So, um, but yeah, I mean, just just a lot of growth, man. I mean, Mina is doing great. You mentioned the Polygon connection there.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah, we were talking earlier today how
obviously
they're
they're
able to
ben
integrate ZPKs.
yeah, they're obviously benefiting from that. So yeah, I'm sure, you know, this is old news to a lot of people who got in and made some money. So
Dude, Mina's the fact I was aware of it when they launched, and I was not able to get in on the pre-sale because I live in America and they didn't want to deal with our
yep.
various finance rules. Like I kick myself constantly. They started off at like a nickel at their all-time high. What they were sitting around $4. What are they currently at?
Mina right now is at just about 87.7, 0.877. So
Okay.
almost 88 cents right now. it looks like they might be dropping a little bit, you know. But again, this is dropping prices don't alarm me.
Not
Obviously,
in crypto.
giant drops tend to be alarming, but I mean,
Hmm.
excuse me. It's this is how markets work, you know. What alarms me more is giant 100% growth to the moon, like we're talking parabolic growth. That's what alarms me, you know. When we
Yep.
don't have when the price doesn't come back down and test, support once again. So,
I
but
mean, I think we can both agree we would much rather prefer a lateral, holding pattern than crazy ups or crazy
I
downs.
think it indicates more legit, you know, price movement
Yeah,
as
I
opposed
agree
to
with you on that.
whale manipulation and things like that. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, but yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm not saying that we won't see a dip again. In fact, I hope that we do. That's when I'll look to buy some more Bitcoin. So, um, or Blockstar or Mina. You know,
Hmm.
um, I don't tend to like to buy on these green numbers though.
I mean, understandable. I think certainly my purchases today are driven by FOMO. That's undeniable.
Yeah, well, again, and like you say, there's a lot of different variations of, you know, dollar cost averaging. So, I learned I don't like to buy on green days for a lot of reasons because I've learned the hard way, you know.
We all have.
I mean, I think my last entry into Bitcoin was back when it was in the 50s, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, Now I've been able, most of my dollar cost averaging has been on the way down, severely on the way down. So I've managed to bring down my dollar cost average to, a pretty reasonable price for, I'm happy right now, you know. But, you know, I would have been more happy right now if I'd have bought back when it was 10,000 or
Yeah.
11,000, you know.
Yeah.
So you never know. And that's why people dollar cost average, just because you never know. So it's more important to have just a strategy and stick to it than, to worry about the price variations. And that
Hmm.
that is going to be more and more so as we see the value of fiat drop and the need to replace that with something else. You know,
Yeah.
what are you gonna base it on gold? You're gonna base a world economy on gold that
It's
nobody ever has access to count it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's yeah, if everything goes to shit and the monetary system collapses, there's some sort of catastrophic event that occurs, I don't think anyone's gonna be using gold to trade. It's gonna be "Hey, what do you have that you can swap for this? Let's
right,
trade some
right.
commodities. I've got salt, you've got pepper. Hey, let's do a trade."
Which was how currency, this is how fiat came about in the first place. So, I
Right.
mean, there's so many reasons to move into legit crypto. Like I said, we're just gonna have to. I mean, I cannot. We're gonna have to basically resist CBDCs. You know, that's step one, I think. Um, and I don't know that, like I said, I think that maybe CBDCs might end up being the victim of the same thing of mass crypto adoption in the same way that crypto, they may get hurt from all the damage that's been done to crypto by the scam projects and all
Right.
these things, And in my opinion, more regulation just means more ways of stopping you from getting into crypto, you know. Um, and the problem that they don't seem to understand is that that's not a really viable way to get to stop crypto.
Hmm.
People can still buy crypto, you know. there are still ways to eat into
Currently.
it, and one of the, like I say, one of the other things that we're looking at is, if you encourage people and stop people from being able to participate in a system, then you're going to encourage other systems to take that, rush in and take that power vacuum.
Yeah,
Um,
very true.
so this could be actually beneficial in the long run.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
Yeah.
It's my
Well, sir,
401k.
right, same here. I've got some stocks from, various previous companies that I
Yeah.
worked at, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, I don't really wanna mess with you. I'm gonna leave you there. It's not much anyways." But crypto, no, I am a firm believer in it.
Yep.
But, sir, I think we should wrap this up.
Let's do it.
It's lunchtime. I know you're an hour ahead of me. Or wait, are we on the same time zone again?
I'm Mountain
Is it
Time, Mountain Standard right now, I think.
what time is
So,
it there for you?
11:30.
Hey, same here. We're on the
All right.
same
All
time.
right.
It's lunchtime,
So,
sir.
okay. I
But
never know.
again,
I that's half the reason I
uh-oh.
moved to Arizona, bro.
It's constant.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
well,
right, man.
everyone, thank you for tuning in. We are Travis and Trevor. Welcome to it. Oh, I guess not welcome, but goodbye. Another episode of the Blockheads. We got audio this time. We're gonna
Yep.
get this out momentarily. But have a wonderful weekend. We're gonna hopefully get some more content out for you guys because content is king.
Yes.
Follow us, like us. You can find both of us on Blockstar,
Yep.
respectively, Trevor and Travis.
I might even
Um,
clean up my office a little bit before next time.
eh, I mean, I quickly moved everything around. I was in the office for the last episode, and now I'm like, well, I've got this nice chair back. I
Yeah.
know there's a piano and guitars in the background, and
Hey,
I'm
this is
using like
nice though. Yeah. No, that's
it
that's
works for me. This is comfortable. It's
that's
better than the
classic,
other
man.
seat.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean,
Alrighty, sir.
nobody can read my books all the way in the back there, but that's probably a good thing. You know.
What do you got back there? Yep. Yep.
All
All
right, guys.
right. See ya.
Peace.